to be honest, don't really know what I'm doing.
He was often a player that I would buy on Football Manager.
It's already a terrible reason.
From Jon Snow, Matt puts Dan's wardrobe to shame.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
Look at him, the cat that got the cream.
Ian Taylor said it was the worst thing he'd ever seen in his life. Monk really is, I know he's Managerial. What kind of say is that?
Gary Monk, 5 out of 10.
I haven't finished yet. I cannot believe Gabby Agbonlahor.
That's crazy,
That's
isn't
terrible.
it?
Yeah, we may well have lost listeners early doors again with a long-winded intro. Go, shoot. Hello, welcome to the Villa View podcast with Christopher Dolan on my left, myself, Dan Bardell, here to talk all things Villa. Off the back of another loss, unfortunately. We're so used to doing these podcasts in good times, a couple of bad.
I mean, we've had a few days to kind of calm down. It was quite raw last Wednesday. It was the night after the QPR disaster. I mean, Saturday wasn't much better. Very different game. Awful conditions. I thought we had the chances to win the game, personally. But not really good enough at this stage of the season. Not really good enough. You know, if Bruce bangs on about these sort of 10 cup finals, you look at the last two: QPR at home, defeat; Bolton away, defeat; Hull next Saturday. Well, 2 weeks. That's looking at like a really tough game now.
Well, you say that, but obviously, I mean, to be fair, Dolan, you've not messed around here. You've literally gone. Usually, me and Tom, when we do it, we spend the intro talking about anything but Villa, but you've gone straight in there. Is it that tough a game? I mean, we can just say we've lost to Bolton and QPR, but in fairness, QPR went to Fulham and got a good result from 2-0 down, which made me feel a little bit better about that game. Yeah. And Bolton have been very good at home in general, and I really think the conditions I do think they were a leveller. I'm not using that as an excuse for losing, because both teams have got to play in those conditions, but I think when you look at the two teams, had it been in normal conditions, we're a better team.
Oh yeah, of course.
And we would have performed better, and I think the conditions actually levelled the playing field somewhat.
We're a better team than Cardiff.
Well,
on paper, you know,
we're better than a lot of teams on paper.
We're better than most. Bar Fulham and Wolves, we're easily the second, third best team in that league. Yeah. No one could have foreseen what Wolves have done.
I think Matt Lynch did, you know. I've got a feeling I can't remember.
Did you guys do a preview?
We did predictions, and he had Wolves up there, and I remember saying, "What are you on about?" Thinking, "You go mad, Matt." But actually, I think he's made a good shout for once.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean, I think it's looking more likely it'll be playoffs.
Well, at the back, you'd think so after those two defeats. I mean, I personally didn't take that defeat as badly as I took the QPR game. The QPR one hurt me, and then I think actually doing the podcast, like I say last week, I found it quite therapeutic. Yeah. So I'm hoping today's going to be a bit therapeutic.
I tried being very positive last week, thinking we'd get a result on Saturday, and it's not really worked out. So I'm not really as positive this week, I must say. I'm back to the old dreaded. Is this game going to be? You know, is this another tough game?
I mean, they're all tough.
Because in the past 2 or 3 months, I've been looking forward. Been really looking forward. I've been really excited. I've been fairly confident that we'll come off with the 3 points. But just looking back at QPR and Bolton, I just did not see it coming at all.
No, I didn't see the 2 in a row coming. Even after QPR defeat, in the back of my head, I didn't think we'd lose again.
No.
I didn't see us losing 2 in a row, because I think that's the first time we've lost 2 in a row since August.
We just looked a little bit void of ideas. We just looked a little bit. We just didn't look as cohesive. Is that a word? Cohesive.
Yeah, it's a good word.
We just didn't look quite as cohesive as we have done over the past kind of 7 or 8 games. We looked like we didn't really know how each other play. The past kind of since New Year's Day, we looked like, you know, every run, every move, it's all just really it's really solid. I said before, I recall whenever we beat Forest, when we beat Forest by 1-0. I remember, is it Forever Forest?
Yeah.
The Forest fan channel said that they'd never seen a team come to the City Ground in so long that had such a solid shape. And every player on the pitch knew exactly when to run, when to defend, when to go forward. And we just looked like a real unit. And the last week, from what I've seen, we just looked a little bit disjointed all of a sudden, which is very bizarre.
Do you think, defensively we don't seem as switched on? I mean, I know we've only conceded 1 goal in that game, but it's the manner of the goal. It's a real poor goal to
Well, I
concede.
don't know why Bjarnason. I mean, it looks to me that he was told to get back on the line for their goal because he completely loses Lafondra. If Bjarnason stays on Lafondra, you'd be fairly confident he's going to clear that.
Yeah,
And he moves at the last second, goes onto the post, and am I right in saying that Snodgrass was already there?
Snodgrass was on the line, yeah.
So I don't know why we needed 3 people, including the keeper, to cover such a small area of the goal.
I mean, it was a poor delivery. The guy did. Was it Pratley at the front post? Did well to flick it on. It was a good flick on.
It's just dreadful, look.
But we
just dreadful.
You know, we weren't switched on for that goal, and if you're not switched on, especially from set pieces, you get caught out. So I'd say, like you say, in that Forest game, defensively we just didn't ever look like we were going to concede.
And we haven't looked like
in that game, and that's how we've been in a lot of games.
Run
but something's changed
since Borough. That run, we just look as solid as a rock, and also as well, usually with Bruce's teams, if you look solid at the back, you don't tend to be as dynamic. I'm using some fantastic words.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. You're congratulating yourself for the word dynamic. I'm not sure that's the killer word that you think it is. It's just a normal word. If I was doing the podcast with a 7-year-old, I'd expect him to use the word dynamic.
Yeah,
I'm sure Tom's used the word dynamic.
Has he?
Probably.
Yeah.
He's got the mental age of a 7-year-old.
Usually with Bruce's team, if we're solid at the back, we don't tend to be as dynamic going forward. But we seem to have had everything.
Balance.
We seem to have had a real balance going forward and defending.
I'm going to throw something at you. I'm sorry to interrupt you mid-flow. I'm not sure I even believe this myself when I'm saying it. But has Hudson not being there, has that made us that seems to have made us less solid?
Yeah.
Because was it 2 games or 3 games he's missed. So he missed the Wolves game, but Taylor played, didn't he? So out of those 3 games, we beat Wolves, lost to QPR, and lost to Bolton, and we've shipped 5 in the process in 3 games, and there can't be many runs this season where we've let that many in 3 games. So is the fact that Hutton's not playing, is that making a difference?
There is, yeah.
Because Hutton deals with set players very well. I think quite a lot of the times Hutton's the spare man from the set pieces. So you'd think he usually that Bolton game, bad delivery like that, he'd have been there to attack the space and get rid of it. We just seemed very static. But like you say, in general, we've not looked as organised, and I'm wondering whether that is something to do with Hutton not being there.
We have been unlucky this season. I mean,
Is that unlucky?
Well, we've been unlucky with injuries.
Oh, we're very unlucky with injuries.
So that's what I mean when I say we've been unlucky. We've been unlucky with injuries, and to get where we are, to still be in the mix at this stage of the season with the injuries that we've had, you can only commend the team and the squad. With Hutton, I think when you lose games, you can nitpick at anything. I mean, if we had gone on one of those 2 games, then we wouldn't have even been sort of calling for Alan Hutton to come back. And I thought Bray had a good game.
Yeah, actually, I've got that down in my notes. Actually, I have made notes this week for notes enthusiasts. I know Tom will be listening in New Zealand, absolutely wetting himself that there's been some notage while he's not here. I actually thought Bree was one of the few plus points I can pull out from that game. The only plus points I've got in my head were Bree had a decent game at left back, considering he hasn't played for months and he's playing on his wrong side. I thought Bree had a decent game. I thought Grealish played well in the first half and very unlucky with that wild left foot volley.
Yeah,
that they had. That would have been absolute goal of the season. Had that gone in, and I thought Hogan looked pretty lively when he came on.
He did
as well. But other than that, I mean, I criticised Bruce perhaps a little bit harshly after the QPR game for his subs, but then to me,
I don't know what he was playing.
The subs on Saturday, they're just bizarre. I mean, for starters, I know we're stretched with injuries, but do we need 4? I mean, obviously we used them all. Do we need that amount of attacking players on the bench?
Well, I mean,
and do we need them all on the pitch at once? Probably not.
Give them the credit. You can't have got on for not trying to go gun ho. If Pep had done that, everybody went, "Oh, look at Pep! He's so attacking and so forward thinking." So I get in terms of the structure and in terms of where they ended up playing. They were all out of position.
Really
what baffled me was bringing Hepburn Murphy on earlier than Hogan.
Yeah, that was. I mean, I think I can't remember. Did I text you at the time saying that makes no sense because he hasn't even been on the bench in the last few weeks, and then suddenly
he scored a few.
Yeah, but he's coming on before Davis. He's coming on before Hogan. That's odd to me because why hasn't he been on the bench in the previous games?
Well, that game to me credit for Davis to come on to come
Yeah.
on. To either start or come on at half time.
Yeah. I mean, I want to point out, I'm criticising substitutions and stuff, but there has been a lot of times when Bruce has made good subs.
Of course.
And he's got things right.
If Hogan's effort isn't clear off the line, if Bree's effort isn't clear off the line, then and we get a point out of that, then it's looking, it's looking like a master.
Yeah.
A master stroke from Bruce.
I'm not criticising bringing these people on. What I have a problem with is we've made these changes and we've changed formation. I mean, God knows what formation we were playing at the end. But you've ended up with like Grealish playing defence, like as a defensive midfielder, because he's having to come so deep to get the ball. You bring Davis on at the end, but you take off the person in Snodgrass that's going to provide the ammunition for him. Like, to me, that's strange. Steve Bruce knows more about football than I do. Of
course.
So I'm sure if I was to go into his office, not that that's ever going to happen, go in his office and have a chat, I'm sure he could probably justify it to me. But to me, it didn't make sense. I didn't understand our substitutions. Fair enough, bringing Hepburn Murphy on and going to at front.
He did look. I get that. Did look quite lively.
Yeah, he had a couple of nice touches, and then his touch let him down.
Yeah.
At one point, he looks a decent player, Hepburn Murphy.
Certainly.
I mean, one thing I did learn from Saturday is Gabby isn't getting if he's not getting on the bench when we've got that many injuries and all those attackers are on the bench, he's not playing again, is he?
That's the last we've seen of him. Well, when was the last time? Was it Reading away that he last played for us?
He came on a sub for a home game. I think Brentford possibly, or Middlesbrough, when we those 2-0-0s. He may have come on in one of those. But yeah, if Hepburn Murphy's obviously ahead of him in the pecking order. Codger, we're going to come on to later, on his way back. He's way down the list now, which some people will be happy about. Some people won't, but I think it's safe to decipher. If we didn't know already, he's probably not getting a new contract.
I think the next time we'll see him in a Villa shirt is the Gabby Agbonlahor testimonial.
I don't think there'll be one of those. I don't think there'll be one, will there? I mean, to be fair,
there should be.
Year-wise,
there should be.
He's done his time, and but he won't.
Yeah.
Teams don't really tend to do testimonials that much anymore. But maybe that's because people don't get to 10 years.
Well,
at one club.
That's true.
I mean, I'm sure when he's announced what Gabby's doing, I'm sure we'll have a podcast in depth.
When you look back at what he's done, he's kind of ruined it for himself over the last few years. But there's no denying his love. There's no denying his passion and his love for the club. He's one of the biggest. He's one of the biggest Aston Villa fans around. So there's no denying that. And I think if you look back and break it down, he was. When he really performed was at the golden era under O'Neill. Whenever we were looking,
I'm only joking.
What's your problem with him?
I pulled a face there.
You did.
It's not got Dolan. You like O'Neill, don't you?
I do like O'Neill.
Oh, I've done it to death on the podcast, so I'm not going to do it again. But I'm not a fan.
He's just been unlucky. And I think he thought he was bigger than the club, and it all just got a little bit messy over those last few 4 or 5 years. And unfortunately, there was nobody in the hierarchy to give him a slap on the wrist. They just give him a new contract instead.
Yeah. I mean, he's done a lot wrong. I'm not going to deny that. But overall, I think when I remember him, I think I probably remember him with fondness, because a lot of his goals were derby-winning goals, match-winning goals, like the goal at Old Trafford, hat-trick at Man City, all the derby goals. So I think overall you have to look back at his time positively. But I'm sure I don't want to overtalk.
Terrifying Koscielny and having great games at the Emirates.
I don't want to overtalk this, because I feel like we did the Martin O'Neill hero or villain podcast. I feel when we do know what's happening with Gabby, I feel that's probably a good one to do. So we'll save it for then.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think he can probably look at it as his time's finished, looking at the fact he didn't even get on the bench.
Of course.
So with the Bolton game now, we've obviously lost 2 in a row for the first time since August. How are you feeling about promotion now? Are you completely ruling out second?
No.
No.
Because until it's not mathematically possible, then it's always possible. So I'm not. And if you look at Cardiff's fixtures in April...
Yeah, I've been taking a look, actually.
Sheffield United away, Wolves at home, Villa away.
Haven't they got to go? I thought they had to go to Wolves, or maybe wrong.
No, they're playing Wolves in Cardiff, and they've got to play... after Wolves, they've got Bristol, I think, as well. They've got to play away. Okay, so really tough. April's really pivotal for them.
I can see them dropping points, but the issue for me is, are they going to drop enough points for us to catch up with them? And I think with the amount of games left, I think it's probably a big ask. But I'm not saying it. Oddly enough.
But if you look at this in terms of if you look at it in terms of a relegation battle, imagine it was like rule reversal and we were at the bottom of the table. And we had these games, you'd still be pretty confident that you would survive.
I think if we were bottom, I wouldn't be that confident.
Well, but if you're in and around,
I know what you're trying to say.
Do you know what I mean? If you look at it from that point of view, there's so many points to play for. I just didn't see Cardiff being able to sustain. I just didn't see them. I remember watching Rigo. I tend to tune in on a Friday at 4:30. I think it is. He does the Q&A, and it's very interesting. He seemed to think that out of all the top sort of 4 or 5, that we'd be the ones that would kick on, because we hadn't shown we hadn't played to our full potential up until kind of, we had spurts, but we really kicked in. After the Borough game, we had more to. He thought that we were going to have more to offer, more experience, and we'd be able to sort of step it up to that next level. And it was looking that way. And then all of a sudden, boom! So what happened to us can easily happen to Cardiff.
No, and I think
it can easily happen to Fulham as well.
Yeah,
it's happened to Derby. It's happened to Bristol. It's happened to Sheffield United.
Yeah, I mean, at one point everyone was saying, "Oh, look at Bristol City. We're never going to catch them." And you look at them now; they're outside the playoffs.
And then Derby as well. We beat that night. We beat Sheffield 1-0. Derby were the team that we were chasing.
I mean, Derby. I know a Derby fan at work, and they always seem to implode. He was saying it's just got psychological for them now. Yeah. They get to a certain point in the season, and Rowett won't be happy with what's happened. He says their football recently has been absolutely terrible, and he's a season ticket holder, a very honest guy.
Yeah,
he thinks they may actually drop out the playoffs. He's got a feeling they're going to drop out the playoffs. What did you make of the Cardiff game getting cancelled? Because again, my Derby friend said to me that hasn't been cancelled because of the weather. Derby have used the weather as an excuse because they've got so many injuries and they just wanted the game rearranged.
You never know.
My mate reckons.
I didn't really pay too much attention to it. I was still sort of very upset from Saturday night. I was on the train on the way to work, and I was checking the team news, and then I realised all of a sudden it was postponed.
Yeah,
I didn't read anything else into it. I just knew it was weather. It was a weather thing.
I mean, the pictures of it looked like it probably could have gone ahead.
If ours went ahead against Bolton, there's no reason why.
You mean QPR?
No, Bolton.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry.
Ours went,
preemptive. Yeah.
If our game went ahead against Bolton the night before, then there was no reason why. And we took 4,500 strong down as well, which was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
I mean, neither of us went to that Bolton game, but something I found quite odd was I actually found the ball harder to see when the yellow ball came out, and I don't know why. The reason behind that I couldn't see the yellow ball, but I could see the white ball.
Yeah,
needed an orange ball really for me.
Ball.
Why has they?
Do we even use orange balls?
Nah, I've not seen one. I'm trying to think what happens in FIFA when you play in the snow, but I always try and avoid it. I try and avoid the snow on FIFA when it happens. Now, last week you were very, very positive, cheered me up, as I've already said. Too positive.
People have said so.
It's come back and bit you a little bit. But oddly, last week I was more down in the dumps than I am now. I kind of feel like because Cardiff didn't play, I feel like I've lost. I feel like we haven't lost anything. I know that doesn't make sense, but that is just how I feel. I mean, Wolves are well away now. They're in the top 2.
Oh,
we can write
that.
I mean, going from the elation of thinking after that Wolves game that we might be able to catch them to now, you can't believe it, can you? That in 2 games, it's all changed so much for us.
I think Aston said that he'd rather, or maybe Noah said,
Aston said this to me.
Rather lost against Wolves and then beat Cupel. Yeah,
it's more points.
It's more points.
It's more points. Yeah, he texted me saying that, and I said to him, "Well, yeah, it's 6 points, Aston, over 3. So yeah, I think we'd all probably take.
Yeah.
What do you make of the Wolves fans? Because I must say, I'm getting a bit fed up of them on social media. I put a tweet out after their game saying that like whatever happens this season, these players have put the pride back in the shirt. I was suddenly getting a load of Wolves fans telling me to delete it. But why? Why do I need to delete that? Because to me, whatever happens this season, okay, we've lost 2 in a row, but that doesn't really change to me what I think of these players. They've given me so many good moments this season that even if we don't... And there's always people that... And this is, I'm talking about Villa fans here. There's always people that will say, oh, you've got low expectations and this isn't what Aston Villa's about. But it's where Aston Villa are. So, but whatever happens, we're in the Championship for a reason. To go from people like Lescott to John Terry... To me, I've had a much more enjoyable season going every week at Villa Park than I have in previous seasons. And even if we don't go up, I've still enjoyed the season. I mean, will I worry for next season if we don't go up? Yes, certainly.
Yeah,
I will. But I've enjoyed the season, and it's important that it is not over yet. There's still a slight chance of autos, but the playoffs. Everyone's saying, "Oh, worry about this, worry about that" for the playoffs, but. On the flip side, the other teams have got to worry about us.
Yeah.
In the playoffs, when we're on song, we've got some serious ammunition in this league, so it works both ways.
And if we can get Villa Park rocking like we did against Wolves, I said to somebody, I don't know who said it, but I thought the Wolves atmosphere was better than the Blues atmosphere.
Yeah, it was, especially when the game kicked off and we went ahead early. Like, it was exactly what you needed.
The last great atmosphere that we had at Villa Park was the West Brom quarter-final in the FA Cup. That was immense. That was really, really immense.
And to be honest, Blues last season when we won 1-0 and Gabby scored, that was a decent atmosphere.
But I think it was such a bad game last year. But I think if we can get Villa Park rocking like that, you'd be petrified. Surely you would psych out the opposition, and we psyched out Wolves that day. Shame we couldn't do it against QPR, but.
Well, yeah, that was just like, it was a bit like a hangover. The QPR game, it's like everyone had put so much in and was riding so hard after that Wolves game. It was almost like we were drunk in that Wolves game, and then you turn up and you hung over a few days later. But if we are to be in the playoffs, and I'm purely speculating here, I would back, depending on what happens, if we're home or away. If it's the atmosphere at Villa Park, I'd back that to carry us through, because I think our home fans, when the team needs us, I would say, and it's a full house, our crowd's got more than the other crowds, and I think the players play off that. Like, you look at teams like Middlesbrough, if they're in the playoffs, no atmosphere.
No.
At home, Derby's atmosphere was okay when I went to the away game.
Fulham's good because it's so compact. You know, I've been to the
they're the ones to avoid. But I wouldn't want to play him in the final either.
But everyone said that last year about them. Everyone was Fulham, you know, they're going up, no problem. They're the ones to beat, and then they absolutely blew it against Reading. But then Reading did play anti-football in those two legs. It was pretty backs to the wall stuff. And
Yapstam's gone today.
Yapstam's gone today, yeah.
Next game, Villa. As always happens. I was going to make a... I didn't have time.
Next game, Villa, or our next
next home game.
Next home game.
So it always seems... I was going to make a list of this because it feels like it happens all the time. Managers always lose their job before Villa are about to play them. So I haven't seen who's been linked.
Bilic, I saw.
With the job. Is Bilic going to go to Reading?
A lot of the Reading fans were delighted to see Stam go.
Well, they're not having a good season. But I think he's a victim of his own success because he overachieved last season, gets them in the top six, gets them to the playoff final. And plus, you've got to take into account that as well. You've got to the playoff final, you've lost. There's a hangover that comes into the next season. And he was, I remember Villa fans calling for Stam to get hire a manager like Stam at the start of the season when things weren't going great. But it's peaks and troughs, isn't it? It all just changes on a week-to-week basis.
I can recall the Fulham fans wanting Jukanovic out.
Really?
Well. Oh yeah,
he's a great manager.
Well, they were going through that little blip, and they got beat by Sunderland, beat them 1-0.
Oh really?
And the Fulham fans wanted them out.
Yeah, things change.
Things change week in and week out. It's such a fickle game, football.
It really is.
So that's why you just have to keep on a level playing field all the way, you know. And I did say again last night, I thought we overdid it. I thought we over-egged it after the Wolves game. I thought we should have been a bit more. Do
you think it's naivety of things haven't been going well for so long?
And you have to grab on to anything you can. But I thought we should have maybe played it cool and it was a little bit of a small club mentality, as you said. Maybe naivety come into the equation as well. I think we should have just kind of gone about our business and just we'll beat Wolves and so what.
I know, but it's
on to the next.
You beat the team when you beat the team that's top of the league, but they've played well all season. When you beat them 4-1, I think it was inevitable that there was going to be. I got carried away. As I say, that Tuesday QPR game was the first time all season I wasn't worried about a game, and I didn't worry about it. Not that I have any effect on what happens, but I didn't worry about it, and we come a cropper. We really had our pants pulled down.
Really did, yeah.
So I don't even know if it was complacency. I don't even know if it is complacency that settled in. Because on another day we could have scored a couple against Bolton, and we'd have won that game. We'd have won that game 2-1. Do you think we were complacent against Bolton? Because I thought the weather made it difficult for us to do what we wanted to do. And I thought the subs completely hindered us.
I just think the Bolton game was just a typical championship game. Really nasty, really horrible. No style, very little substance, and it was always going to be first goal wins. I mean, Bolton have got a very good record defensively at home, of late anyway. And once they got the first goal, I just couldn't see us getting back into it. You know, we had the chances, but they defended like beavers.
Really did.
That's calmly said, but they defended really well, and in the end to deserve the 3 points. And
I've got no complaints in either game. QPR and Bolton both deserved the win. We keep harping back to the Bolton game because basically it's the only thing that's happened since our last podcast, and now we're on an international break without a game to look forward to in the coming week. But the referee, And the linesman, that tackle on
horrendous.
Bjarnason was
Horrendous.
an absolute disgrace. And Grealish gets kicked up and down each and every week as well. Have you ever seen a more... I mean, that referee on Saturday, the arrogance of the man. He made Conor McGregor look shy, I thought, the way he was strutting round and he's pulling his faces every time he has to make a decision. I mean, I should add, it wasn't his fault for the Bjarnason potential leg breaker because the linesman was millimetres away from it. I mean, what was it? I don't know what he was looking at. I can only presume he had snow in his eyes because that tackle was a disgrace. But do you think there's a lack of protection for Villa at times?
I think there's a lack of quality referees.
Yeah,
I think if you speak to any football fan of any club in this league, they would say it happens to them as well. I think it's just a lack of quality referees. And to be fair, who'd want to be a referee these days anyway? I mean, it's bad enough in the Premier League, so it's only going to be worse in the Championship.
If we ever go back up to the Premier League, I mean, it's a dangerous thing to say considering I'm always doing stuff on camera, but I'd like to think I won't complain about the officials ever again if we go to the Premier League because compared to the AFL,
it's dreadful.
The level is unbelievable. I, like you say, there's been so many bad refereeing performances. Even in games we've won where we've got decisions, I've come away from games thinking that ref was awful.
Was dreadful.
The referees at this level, they seem to want to make it all about them.
Yeah.
All the time. It's like they're not in the limelight as much because they're not in the Premier League and have to try and make a name for themselves somewhere.
It's the Mike Dean school of refereeing.
Yeah, they're all a bit. That ref was very Mike Dean. Very, very Mike Dean.
You could do like a nice little YouTube kind of funny compilation to him, couldn't you? With some nice sort of.
I'm going to be honest. I'm not capable of pulling that kind of thing together. Dan Rolinson might be able to do it, but yeah, that Bjarnason tackle was
horrendous,
unbelievable. I mean, he's very lucky man.
Absolutely.
And I don't know whether that affected Bjarnason after that because I did feel after that he couldn't pass the ball to a Villa player. He's passed. Would
you not be a little bit on edge if somebody came in and absolutely crunched you?
Yeah.
Would you not be sort of a little bit on edge?
I did think that was kind of the when he. I mean, I don't think Conor was having his best game, so fair enough. He came off, but again, he was not alone in not having his best game. I just think there was no point having Bjarnason in central midfield at that point when you're in the two because he didn't really offer us anything going forward.
No,
and he didn't pass with Villa man in the entire second half. So what do you make of Lansbury? Because we get a lot of people ask about Lansbury. What has happened there?
I don't know. I wonder, is it an attitude thing with him? He does seem very, very cocksure. Is that the word? You know,
usually I don't mind that.
He has, you know, any man that has braids in his hair.
That is a brave move.
Needs a slap. Is that Tails?
No.
But I think he has WhatsApp.
He has.
Anyone that has braids in their hair needs a good long look at themselves. I don't know. I think it could be an arrogance thing with him.
Wouldn't get braids in your hair, would you?
I mean, I get enough stick as it is. So
I've got to say there was some absolute gems. on Twitter and YouTube. I can't. There was
we always end up talking about my hair.
I'm going to be honest. It's unavoidable. It is a majestic mane.
It's just a.
It is a majestic mane. You don't see many hairstyles like that nowadays. Well, I like it. I mean, I couldn't pull it off.
No.
I've got to admit, I did get a message last week. I did tell you about it, calling you Lego Harry Potter.
From who?
I don't know who. I can't remember who it was. Which I thought was a bit harsh.
I got Elton John in New York. In New York, everyone thought I was like Elton John.
Really?
But that was the first.
Yeah, but I mean, apologies, it's gone off on a bit of a tangent to Dolan's hair, but as I say, it's pretty unavoidable.
Back to Lansbury,
yeah. You brought hair into it.
Well, I did. No, it's my fault.
I've got something to admire here next to me. Usually, Tom sat in here. There's no hairstyle to admire there. There's nothing to admire with the hair from Tom. I've thrown you, haven't I?
You have a little bit.
Sorry.
I'm just
Lansbury.
Just trying to think of a.
Do you think
quip.
We don't know he's got an attitude?
Don't know what to say. There's nothing's been late. I mean, we knew about McCormick last year. That was.
What's happened to him? Where's he?
Well,
what's he doing?
God knows.
I've heard he's training at Bodymore, but I don't know how well founded this is.
But his attitude was public last season. Lansbury just hasn't really featured.
I mean, he's had injuries, so that's not helped. When he was in the team early on in the season, he got sent off.
People were even saying, his injuries. Has he had any injuries, or is that just?
Yeah, he's had a lot of niggles this season. But there's been times when when he's been fit, when I would have expected him to be on the bench, and he wasn't. You saw Whelan and Jedinak on a bench, and not Lansbury, and you thought, oh well, can't we have a bit of variety?
I thought after that Leeds game, he would have kicked on.
Injured again.
Yeah,
because he got in the teams after that Leeds game, didn't he? Because I remember him and Jack came on and changed the game, and it was Lansbury that started. I think it was Millwall next. Well, Lansbury started, and not Jack. And I think we all thought it might be the other way around. But he's not done anything.
But has he had a good game for us in a Villa shirt since he's come to the club?
His first game he was good.
Preston was good, but
Yeah.
that was a 2-0.
I mean, I'm not throwing too much blame at him because I think if you don't get a run in the team, you're always going to struggle unless you're playing every single week. We've seen with Jack what it's done for Jack, playing every week, playing the same position, playing the position you like every week.
Yeah.
I mean, there was times last season when we were so defensive. Lansbury was playing as Lansbury, Horahan, and I think it was Bakuna
But he always
at the
looked like-
time. We're all playing as defensive midfielders.
Yeah, but he always looked to me like he was kind of running on quicksand. He looked very sluggish and very slow. I remember the Rotherham game away that we won 2-0. I was there and he just looked really slow and really sluggish.
This is a player, by all accounts, before he came to Villa.
He was a word beater. He was
getting assists, he was getting goals.
That hat-trick he scored against, was it Bristol or Barnsley? Barnsley.
I think he scored a hat-trick against Newcastle or something.
And then that winner, that goal he scored against us.
Yeah, I mean, was
quality like
the player that we have seen when we have seen him, which we haven't seen enough of him. It's not that player. It's not that same player that I saw at Forest. I mean, when we signed him and Horahan, I was buzzing.
Yeah.
Two of the best central midfielders in the Championship, and Connor's played a lot of games and done well, scored 9 goals. We have not seen anything like what I expected from Lansbury. And like I said, I'm not throwing the blame at Lansbury because you don't know what goes on. And I do think injuries and getting a run in the team does play a part.
Out of all the players that we signed last January, Horahan and Bree came from smaller clubs.
Yeah.
Than Lansbury did.
Well, Lansbury's played for Arsenal.
Hogan came from a smaller club than Lansbury. I thought out of all those players that we got in, I thought he would have been the one that would have stepped up because he's used to that big game, that big stadium, and that big atmosphere. Like you said, he played for Arsenal, played for Forest. Forest still get 25,000-30,000 a game. Big club, big history, big tradition like ourselves. And I thought he was the one. He was that missing link that we needed, and he's just done nothing for us. Absolutely nothing. He
started the season, didn't he? Because Horahan started the season on the bench, and it was Lansbury, Bakuna, and Whelan, I think.
Yeah.
First kind of season. So Bruce obviously at that point, Lansbury was ahead.
He was, yeah.
He was the main man in midfield. I think he may have even played number 10.
Yeah.
In the first few games of the season.
He did a good pre-season, didn't he? But
I just remember him missing that penalty against Watford at the Graham Taylor Memorial game. That's all I can remember. Do you think? I mean, we don't know what's going to happen this summer because we don't know what league we're going to be in. Do you think he's done at Villa, Lansbury? Do you think if he's not getting a game at this point?
No, because I think if we go up, I don't think he'll stay.
No.
If we don't go up, I think he'll stay because I think if we'll probably end up having to play him week in, week out if we don't go up because Whelan probably won't be here, Jednak won't be here. I'd like to think Horahan will stay.
I think if we don't go up, I think Whelan and Jednak will be here.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
I just don't think we can afford
them. They've got another year on the contract. No one's going to. I don't think anyone will come in and take them off our hands on the wages they're on here. I think it's the same with Lansbury. He's probably on decent money. Again, this is speculation. I don't know what he's on, but you'd imagine he's on decent money. And we've seen with people like Richards and Gabby, if they're on decent money, they're not going to leave.
No.
And in some ways, I think about my life and think about like you're just trying to provide for your family and provide the best for yourself. If someone's not going to pay you what you're already on, you're not going to take it. If I got offered a job that was on less money than what I'm on now, it'd have to be like an absolute dream. Like you're not going to do it, are you?
No.
You can't. In some cases, you can't do it. I know it's a different world in football, but in some cases, you can't do it.
No.
I fear I'm going off into a weird and wild angle like Tom was with the referees the week before he went on holiday about giving the referee the nicest changing room and stuff like that. Don't worry, you've obviously forgotten about Dolan. Not listen. Man doing the podcast does not listen to the other podcast.
I do.
Let's go on to something a bit more positive. So I don't know whether did you see the interview with Jack Grealish in the Telegraph yesterday?
Yeah,
enjoyable read, thorough read.
Yeah, it was really good
as well. What did you make of that?
It's his first kind of real grown-up interview, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah, he was all over Sky. Obviously, I work at Sky. He was all over Sky Sports News yesterday as well. Jack, I thought it was encouraging.
Very encouraging, but like anything. If we don't go up, you just worry. He'd be the one, but
I don't think he'd want to go. I think that's the message I took from that interview. That even if Villa tried to sell him, and it was for the best of the club for money.
We spoke last week, didn't we? And said that if somebody came in with 15-20 million quid for him, you'd have to look at it from a financial.
What I took from it was he wants to play in the Premier League, obviously, because he wants to prove himself at the highest level. But he wants it to be with Villa.
Of course he does. Yeah, so, he's one of us.
Yeah, people, and that's the thing. A year ago, I remember backing him and saying he's one of us. He's doing his best. He needs a run of games. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, get rid of him. Don't want him in the team. He's not good enough." But he's shown now that he's our complete main man. I thought it was interesting him saying He's now playing in his favourite position on the left of a midfield
Well,
three.
that's where Sherwood had him, wasn't it?
Well, Sherwood had him as a 10 behind two strikers. Now he's playing I'd say he's playing as an orthodox central midfielder with a licence to get forward now, Jack.
Yeah.
And it suits him down to the ground, being on that left hand side and cutting in. I think.
No, you're right. I mean, it was a good interview. It was positive. It was good to read.
He still thinks we can get top 2.
Well, we can.
Yeah,
of course we can.
Yeah.
And I think it was encouraging about Terry as well. He said he's going to stay on as well if we go up.
Yeah,
I think if we go up, you know, I think we can invest in the team. I think
we'll build. We'll build for sure, but we've got to get there. That's the issue, isn't it?
I know.
It's a hard task, and now, like, there's only a few. It doesn't feel like there's many games left, and before you know it, it feels like potentially the playoffs could be here. Doesn't it?
I mean,
if
you could pick a way to go up, you know, like I've always said, if you could pick a way to go up, it would be via the playoffs.
Yeah.
Just for the sheer elation, you know,
but
of getting through Wembley. But you just want to avoid the potential heartbreak. I just don't know. I just don't know how it's going to pan out, man. I really don't. Really don't. We have to beat Hull. We have to beat Hull.
I mean, Hull have gone to Birmingham and got tonked, haven't they?
Yeah.
Which Birmingham were in no great form at all going into that, and they've pulled a 3-0 from nowhere. So obviously Gary Monk mentioned in our intro, he's obviously got something out of them.
Oh yeah. Now, and to be fair, like, Birmingham are quite a decent team on paper. They shouldn't be down. They shouldn't be bottom 3 with that team.
Well, they've certainly spent the money.
They spent the money exactly
in the summer, but as we've seen with Villa, if you've got bad owners, it filters down. It finds its way down.
Absolutely.
More positive news, not really Villa related, but a Villa legend has won the Indian Super League. Friend of the channel, more a friend of yours, to be honest.
Yeah.
I do speak to him every now and again, but I think you're better friends with him than I am. It's safe to say. Personally, one of my heroes, John Gregory.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm looking at the team name here, and I'm hoping you'll be able to say it because I can't say it. Chennaiyan FC. I'm sure someone will correct us in the comments if you could let us know how to say that. That would be brilliant. But yeah, they've won the Indian Super League, his team, and he signed a 1-year extension to stay out.
Oh, that's brilliant.
In India,
brilliant.
Yeah. Have you spoke to him recently?
Just a few WhatsApps back and forth. Really just said, congratulations.
I remember when he got the job and I spoke to him and he was saying he was absolutely loving it out there.
Oh yeah. I mean, the fans are so passionate, super passionate.
It's actually bigger than I thought it was.
As well. And if you look at the players that play for them, some pretty renowned footballers have.
Sorry, I've just started to make myself laugh because I've thought of that photo. Did you see that photo?
That photo of him. Geezer, like.
Okay, you love that. I can see you rocking up in a night out wearing that gear.
Geezer,
for sure. Did Paul Smith kick him out for that one?
No.
I saw some sort of funny comment on social media somewhere saying that like he was looked like a final level boss. on a computer game.
Oh, he's cool, man. He pulls it off. He's got good style, John. I must say.
He's a good man. He's a good man. Absolute
great guy.
Villa legend. And when we met him, he made me feel $1 million. And he's obviously done the same to his players. They really wanted him to stay because I don't think it was set in stone that he was going to stay for another year.
It was a real contract, wasn't it?
Now he is. The players are delighted, aren't they? The club are delighted.
I think they're the top dogs in that league. And I think if you don't win silverware, then you're out. I think most of their managers that come in tend to sign a one year deal, and it's very much those ruling contracts.
Well, it says here they're champions 2015 and 2017-18. I'm just saying they've got 811,000 followers. So that tells you.
One of the corners has like 14 million followers on.
It seems absolutely massive. So
setup.
Well done to John. Maybe we did try and get hold of him today to try and maybe get him on the show. I'm not sure of the time difference. We didn't get very far, but hopefully maybe we'll be able to speak to him.
Oh, we'll get him on
again soon. Other good news: Mitchell Clark and Andre Green signing new contracts. So that happened. In the week.
Really good. I don't know too much about Mitchell Clark. I haven't seen him enough.
He's very well liked by people that see a lot of the under-23s football. I know he's very highly rated.
I haven't seen enough of him to see
Mitchell Clark,
but
and good to have Andre Green on the way back.
Green, yeah. If you just keep him fit.
Yeah, he'll be a real asset off the bench when you're looking for something to change a game, and you don't want to throw 17 strikers on. Having someone like Andre Green on the bench will be a good weapon.
When we've gone behind, we've really missed the having that outlet from the bench. We've never really had. Our bench has never been that mixed. It's been too one-dimensional. It's been too samey. We haven't had the players to
Because I'd describe him as explosive. He's got that
he's
pace and he can
quality,
carry the
man.
ball. So as an option off the bench, Andre Green could be a game changer.
Just on that, like if we don't go up for whatever reason next season, surely this could be the year that we bet in a lot more of the under-23s.
There's a lot of talent there.
There's a lot of talent. I mean, and they play some great football.
I think this is the highest rated bunch for a while. For a while now.
Since the squad that beat Arsenal 10-1?
Yeah, with the likes of Bannon
and
Albrighton coming through, Kieran Clark.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair to all these players, people will say, "Oh, Bannon was rubbish, Kieran Clark was rubbish," but they've all gone on and had good careers
especially Albrighton,
made an well.
Premier League winner.
Albrighton, some of the
Not
dross.
even Stephen Gerrard can say that.
Some of the dross I see in the England squad, I cannot believe that Albrighton hasn't at least been thrown a chance at some point.
That's bizarre.
I know he's a different position to Jay Livermore before anyone judges me, but when you say Jay Livermore getting a call up
awful, man.
and Albrighton's never had a chance, you think the guy's won the Premier League. Jay Livermore's going down.
Yeah, and
with the baggies.
Listen, England. I mean, I'm not an England fan, obviously, but
aren't you?
But I still want to see them do well. Of course, I do.
Yeah.
I mean, I live in England and I follow an English football team, but I just think it'll be typical England. If Joe Hart starts the first game in the World Cup, then
goalkeeper scares me. I'm going to be honest.
It's just that's something in a nutshell. They pick on the basis of their name and what they've done instead of picking on current form, and that's been your problem over the last since Euro '96.
We've been thrown a slight England question that we'll come on to, so we'll go back to that. We'll go to that at the end when we do questions. Just one more thing I've got here in my notes about Codger, and I've wrote here when and where does he come in?
You just stick him in. You just stick him straight in the team.
You think?
Well, if he's fit, you stick him in.
He's not going to be fit for a few weeks, I wouldn't think. There's a difference between playing 45 minutes behind closed doors and playing the rough and tumble of the Championship.
I mean, he wasn't even fit when he came back.
We rushed him
He shouldn't have come back. He was rushed. He was rushed back, and he wasn't fit enough. And he still performed pretty well, I thought.
Yeah. He was kind of playing in a new role, wasn't he?
One positive and plus is if you try and pick the bones out of it and try and be upbeat about these things. If we do have to go via the playoffs, then he may well be
a game changer.
Yeah,
that him and Gray.
He mightn't start, but tell you what, if you bring him on, we all know what he can do. He can hold it up, effortlessly.
Yeah,
explosive pace, and he can find the back of the net.
Yeah, I mean, like we were saying about Green, it's just those. A bit more guile on the bench, isn't it? At times, there's been sturdy, solid players, but there hasn't been that guile off the bench.
There's nothing really. I think that's probably why we brought on Hepburn Murphy to probably play in that wide role to see if he can do it. I don't think Hogan. I think Graben and Hepburn Murphy can get away with it. Hogan can't play on the on the wings.
Oh no, we can't play Hogan on the wing. It didn't work when we tried that. He's an out and out striker.
But if we do go down the playoff route and we can get Green fit and we can get Kodja sort of 45 minutes fit, then to bring those two guys on would be a real asset.
They would be game changers, and people don't like it because it sounds like an excuse. But I do wonder where we would be if we'd had Codger for the whole season, a fully fit Jonathan Codger of last season. Because quite simply, it was Jonathan Codger FC last season.
Yeah,
in some ways, because he was the only one putting the ball in the back of the net. If we'd have had his goals,
along with Adoma and goals from midfield.
I mean, we can't say the other players would have performed in the way they have with him there. We just don't know, but I think it would have made a massive difference, and there's no denying that. So let's move on to your questions now. Luke Redding's come in with an absolute belter of a question.
I'll pass my phone over, man, so I can get my.
He's come in with an absolute banger. I'm not going to. I wish I'd not said that. I'm not 12 years old. As it's international break, what would your Championship England 11 be? So I actually spent quite a lot of time doing this and having a look at it, and I've come up with a team here that I think I'd rather see this team at the World Cup, because I think it would be more fun, and it would be people with something to prove, like you say, not picked on reputation. So while you grab yours up, I'll just put mine. Obviously, there's a heavy Villa feel.
I tried not to put a heavy.
You've got to have a few in though, haven't you? So I've got Johnston in goal. I'm shocked by your goalkeeper choice, but we'll come on to it. So I've got Johnston in goal for me, the best goalkeeper in the Championship. Could have had Angus Gunn because he's playing at England under 21 level, but I went with Johnston because I think he's the better keeper at the moment. Fredericks at Fulham at right back. Then I know he's retired from international football, but I've tempted him out of retirement for the purpose of this game. John Terry and Ben Gibson, who's had call-ups for England
I'm surprised
before.
I'm surprised he's still playing.
I think it's just the money's madness and no one would pay the money for him. I've gone for a bit of an off-the-cuff left back because I wanted someone who... I've thought about this too much, if I'm being honest. I wanted someone who fitted into my style of football. So I've gone with Rico Henry, the Brentford left back that used to play for Warsaw, just because he's a good footballer and he's got a bit of pace.
I thought it was Carl Henry.
And that Guile again. No, Carl Henry's not getting anywhere near this team, mate. And then this midfield, I'm very happy with this midfield. A central three of Ryan Woods, who's dominated Villa on many occasions at the base, and then to the left of the central three, Grealish, and to the right, Swift at Reading, who's played a lot of times for the England under-21s. I think that's a good midfield.
It's small, no?
Who cares? We're going the football I'm going to play, Dolan.
Yes,
This is a different graver. This side's fine. We don't need. There is a severe lack of physical presence in this side. Looking at it, and then I've gone for Bobby Reid, leading the line, top scorer in the Championship. I've gone with him, and then Maddison from Norwich on the right scored a lot of goals this season, and then Sessegnon on the left, incredible player.
Unbelievable. There's talk that he's £40 million bid from United.
I'd say 40 million minimum at the moment. The way the money is.
Well,
Yeah, look how many games he's played now. Well, he's done.
Fulham have brought through like Dembele.
Yeah.
Even around Patrick Roberts, who plays for Celtic.
He came through Fulham, didn't he? That's a good shout.
Do you want to hear mine or?
I'm looking at it and I've got some question marks over it.
Why?
You know why? We discussed it before we came on. I mean, there's no that guy left back, not a left back.
Yeah, I'm just.
He's really right. You go with yours.
Well, I've done Ruddy in goal.
I don't buy that. You sound like Aston Radford, who said that Ruddy was better than Johnston.
Well, he's not. But going on form, he's his team's top of the league, and
he's not a better goalkeeper than Johnston. He's played for England before, though, Ruddy, hasn't he?
Going on form.
And
he's played in the Premier League. Johnston.
That's true. I'm being a bit harsh on you. Carry on.
Fredericks, Terry, Flint, and Cody.
Yeah, not a left back, but we'll let you off.
Yeah, he's good enough to play though.
We'll let you off.
He can play there. I've certainly put him there in my Chapman team. Watkins, Woods, and Sessegnon as a three. Grealish off the front two, and that's Graben and Maddison.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. I think my team is better. We'll let the people in the comments be the judge.
He banged in what 14, 13 for Sunderland.
Yeah.
And a dreadful Sunderland team.
And he scored a few good goals for us as well.
4 for us as well. So, and also I couldn't think of anyone else.
I mean, I don't think you read the question. You didn't read the question properly initially, which has cost you.
Brought back old school memories of not reading the question correctly. And
always read the question properly.
Wrong.
So let us know in the comments which team you think's better out the two. I'm pretty sure it's going to go my way. But yeah, let us know in the comments. Got a bit of an off-the-cuff question here as well. Who'll be the first Villa View presenter to have kids? And I've ruled myself out.
Well, I've got 5 already, man.
Have you?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dolan's got the five kids already. He hasn't really. He's got no kids. But I'll just go with Tom Julian. That's who I'd say. I'm not ready.
No.
I'm still young and in my prime. I don't want to be tied down with kids yet.
I wanted kids when I was in mid-20s, but I
really?
wasn't having it.
Really? Fair play to her.
I was just up for being a dad.
Yeah. Luckily, me and Andrew are on the same page.
We've got 2 kids already, man.
We've got the rabbits. I mean, that take up a lot of time, a lot of looking after Dolan and them, our 2 babies.
Does James Chester know that one of your rabbits is called Chester?
His dad definitely knows because I saw him after the Fulham game and in a drunken chat decided that was the most interesting conversation I could come up with.
What did he say?
I don't really remember.
No.
I think he just laughed.
You didn't embarrass yourself, did you? A little bit?
I mean, it's a strong word, embarrassed, but did I make the best impression of myself?
No.
Probably not. But yeah, I don't know whether James Chester knows. You probably know better than me.
I'll ask him.
Friend of everyone, you are.
I'll ask him.
Supporters Player of the Season poll is live on the website. Who gets your vote? Jack Hurley. I've said Johnston all season, but now I think I'm going to have to go Adoma.
Adoma all day.
Just because of productivity, more than anything. And he's had when you look at where he was last season, the output.
Am I right
just,
in saying that his goals have led to 23 points?
It's something a lot around that number that was higher than I was anticipating.
That alone just deserves.
Yeah, you can't.
Deserves the award. You can't.
He will win it.
And for someone that started the season on the bench,
to
force his way into the team and keep his place, phenomenal.
Yeah, well, just going through what else we've got here. Some of the stuff to be honest, we covered last week. Jay Morgan, just more of a comment here. The return of Codger and Hutton will be a massive bonus for the running. Will Bruce need to rip up the team sheet and start again?
Yeah.
I don't think he needs to rip it up. I think that formation that formation that we've been playing, the 4-1-4-1, works. It just hasn't worked the last two games. But I would suggest now isn't the time to be going around playing with formations and becoming disjointed. I'd suggest
we've just had a bit of a blip, and that is it.
Yeah.
That is it.
Yeah, a few more questions around the squad. I wouldn't change much. I'd keep going with the team that we've got, because I think in that run they proved themselves that on their day they can be unplayable. And to me, I think changing it smacks more. I get you make the odd change here and there. I think maybe we should be a bit more flexible when we've got a run of games on a Tuesday and a Saturday.
I just think we can really affect things from the bench if we can get that right. I think we can really affect games in the last half an hour if we're chasing it.
Yeah. Got a few bits of stick for that photo that we put up last week. We did look like a strange compilation group.
I thought it was a pretty good picture, personally.
Yeah, but it took a few stick. John Davis, why do we try and play long balls against the lower teams? Last two we've played unattractive football and got the results to match. Also, if we're going to play long balls, then why is it Davis starting? I think that's probably a valid concern. I think it's just panic stations. Yeah. We haven't spent much time behind this season, so I think the last few games going behind has really it's felt like it's thrown us.
What's frustrating, as good a footballer people say John Terry is, he always thumps a long ball.
He's got a ping on him.
He loves a long ball.
He's got an absolute ping on him, Dolan.
And him and El Mohamed, he just love a long ball.
Yeah. Ben Redding, do you think this international break has come at a good time for us?
Yeah.
Absolutely. The first time this season where I've thought that, we need to regroup, get the players rested, get them away. I mean, maybe some of them going on international duty will actually buoy them a little bit. Yeah. Like Hogan could get his first cap for Ireland this international break. He's been on the bench 4 times, hasn't actually got on yet, so you'd imagine in friendlies he's going to get his first cap for Ireland. If he does, we wish him all the best. Not that I don't think Scott Hogan listens to the Villa View podcast, but you never know. Someone else here, Audrey Lynch, has said massive change in mood around Alan Hutton. People now saying how badly we've missed him. Well, I'm one of those who probably 13, 14 months ago was always on his back, but I've turned completely around, and I do think when he doesn't play, I do feel like we do miss him. ENF, how would you celebrate if we won the playoff final? I think I'd be drained. I think I'd be capable of doing anything. I think I'd be absolutely drained.
I do what I did after the semi-final.
What did you do?
Went to a Villa pub.
Yeah?
And just got absolutely smashed.
I imagine there'd be a few drinks to be had.
Dancing on the tables.
Do you think if we went up, they'd do an open-top bus around Birmingham? Do you think that would be something that would happen?
After the Wolves win.
We nearly did one then, didn't we?
The way we behaved, I think we'd have jet planes and everything going on. Yeah.
Yeah. This is a good one, True Villa. Having the Lord's sweet name as Uncle Albert not being called up to the Ghana squad. Basically saying, what more could he do? I mean, I don't follow the Ghana squad particularly. I'm not sure who's in there. I mean, I imagine Jordan Ayew's in there still. You think he's probably done enough this season, but he's not made in. But at this point, rest him because he had a couple of injuries. Just leave. We don't.
Suits all starting to grind.
Seeing Snodgrass wasn't in the Scotland squad, I thought great.
Yeah.
Rest him. So I think for certain people like Hogan, I think it's a good thing to maybe try and get some international football now. But for people like Snodgrass and Adoma,
I know Terry's in Dubai, isn't he?
There's a few of them on holiday. I've got to say, Conor Horan put something up on Instagram of where Ireland was staying. It looked very nice.
It looked very nice.
At first, I thought he was on holiday, and then I remembered he was away on international break.
I said to him, "Where are you at?" And he said, "I'm with Ireland." I said, "Oh,
yeah."
I should know that, shouldn't I?
Yeah,
being Irish.
Yeah, you should. And I think that wraps it up for us. I think we've got a solid 52 minutes.
Doesn't it? Absolutely
It does go quickly.
You've got to catch a train, haven't you?
I've got to go. I'm heading back to Birmingham
as well.
Yeah, I've got all sorts to do now. So we've recorded it slightly earlier this week. Thanks ever so much for tuning in. We really do appreciate all the support you give us, and we do enjoy the comments as well, even when they're not favourable. There were some last week that weren't favourable.
It's all good,
happy to take criticism on the chin because, to be honest, I take the praise. So you got to take the criticism as well. So yeah, we appreciate all the support we get. If you could leave us a review on iTunes if you have enjoyed it, that would be great. We try and get the podcast noticed more in the audio field. At one point we were in the top 200. I think. I mean, I've not seen us in there since. Not that I check religiously. Thanks for all your support on our YouTube videos as well, and for all the new subscribers that we've got. If you are new to the podcast, and tell your friends about it, because as I say, we're trying to spread it further and further. You know what? I haven't got a clue. Tom has been. For people wondering where Tom is, he's on holiday.
He hasn't even.
I can only presume he's lost his phone. Or he's got no signal in New Zealand, because we have heard nothing
Fall
from him
off the face of the earth.
while he's been away. So it could be me and Dolan next week, but it could be, to be fair, it could be any combination. We just don't know. Squad rotation system working with the Villa View podcast now. There'll probably be a lull in videos because obviously there's no game coming up, but there will be a podcast next week, so look out for that. Give the video a like on YouTube if you have enjoyed it, and subscribe to the channel with your post notifications on if you are new to the Villa View. Up the Villa, hopefully we'll have some more stuff to talk about next week. It could be a bit of an international lull, but hopefully there'll be some stuff to talk about, and we'll preview the upcoming games in more detail. Thanks ever so much for your support. Up the Villa. If you enjoyed that video, why not watch another? Click the video choices on screen now to go and watch them in full. Be sure to subscribe to the channel by clicking our logo there on the left. Easy peasy.